As we near the debut of Dragon Ball Super's first major arc in 2017 entitled the Universe Survivor Arc, the lyrics to the new ending of the Dragon Ball Super theme song may hold clues as to what may or may not happen in the upcoming story. Originally translated by Anime Live Reactions, credit goes out to him, we learn of a very eerie message that was planted within the outro of Dragon Ball Super, and joining me here today to tackle this subject is the Daishinkan Emish for part 2 of our Dragon Ball discussion, where today we're going to be primarily focusing on whether or not the lyrics connect to the Omni Kings. Now, first off, I wanted to say, again, Emish, it's great to have you back. In case you guys have missed part 1 of our video, talking about the Grand Priest and if we believe that the connection to the lyrics have to do with him, go on ahead and check that video out, guys. That video will be located down in the description. Now, a lot of you guys may be wondering, what lyrics are we talking about? So those who are unaware of the lyrics, it goes as follows, and I quote, "An angel and a demon are sitting together like friends. I am in the middle. Which way do I face? Either destroy myself or destroy everything else. They scream it in my ear all night. Is there a right answer to this? The masks of angels on the faces of demons. They beckon to me and say to me, for the sake, for goodness, destroy all evil right now. They say the world is waiting for me." So now, Emish, I wanted to talk to you today and ask you if you believe this has anything to do with the Omni King. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the premise, right, having one Omni King is dangerous enough. I mean, we already know how powerful the Omni King is, as displayed when he wiped out the entire universe that Trunks was in, when he killed off Zamasu, and we know that he bears great power. Now, having two of them, you know, coincide along each other, it's just a very scary thought, thought, because if you look at, if one disagrees with the other, there's going to be anarchy and chaos, because I think the worst thing to have is someone that's just great in power, but then you duplicate that times 2. For example, can you imagine how dangerous it would be to have not just one, but 2 Adolf Hitlers in this world? That would have been insane. So now having to look at the Omni King, in your opinion, do you believe that whatever's going to go down in the upcoming Universal arc, do you believe that this might be connected to the Omni King, and where one Omni King is as good as we assume he might be, that being the present Omni King, and then we have the future Omni King that we aren't too fond of or aware of, but we saw the destructive force of nature and what he was able to do in the future, and as you pointed out in the previous video, very gullible when Goku confronted him about Zamasu. So I wanted to ask you your thoughts on the Omni King and if you believe the lyrics have anything to do with him.
Definitely. It's apparent. Like I said, it's pretty apparent. These lyrics have everything to do with. I think the Omni Kings are definitely involved. Granted that, again, you brought up some points in the other video where you said that the Daishinkan was in the middle, which does coincide with line number 2 of the lyrics. And you have the angel and an angel and a demon are sitting together like friends. That could easily be portrayed to be speaking about the 2 Omni Kings, one being good, one being bad. Again, we don't know. We can't specifically say that, okay, well, this Omni King's good because he's doing this, and this Omni King's bad because he's doing that. And then this guy's in the middle, he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing. So I do think that the Omni Kings are involved. However, the first Omni King that we saw, he literally, it was mentioned that back then he had a bad temper. He was very spoiled. He had no, he had no remorse. He was pretty...
Now, someone's going to ask you, what are you talking about? Going back to what we told Goku, everybody, there was a certain point in time where the Omni King was in a very quote-unquote bad mood. And what did he do? He wiped out 6 universes, and that's what Emish is referring to. Right,
so you could make the assumption there that he had something called temper tantrums. He had tantrums where he would just go on a rage and just wipe everything out. And then eventually over time, now he's not as bad as he used to be. And I don't mean bad as evil, I just mean bad as he would just toss his power around recklessly, and people would suffer at the cause of that. But I do think the future Omni King, again, we don't know his temperament, we don't know how he is, we don't know his whereabouts. He hasn't been influenced by Goku yet, up until he met him for the first time. That was the only time he was influenced by a mortal. He had no interest in meeting Goku. The first Omni King we saw was the one who took an interest to the mortals. That was the only one that came onto the Universe in 6 and 7 tournament and said, hey, what's going on, guys? I heard something arbitrary was going on, but I ended up, I saw what I liked what I saw, and I like it. We should do this again sometime. We should hold a tournament.
It was not due to Goku's influence. It was the influence of the actual tournament itself.
Exactly. So we should do something like this again. But ultimately, you can say that as a result of Beerus, of coming to Earth to look for Goku, as a result of Goku obtaining these powers, especially Vegeta, as a result of everything, ultimately it led the gods and it led the Omni King to take an interest in these people, in these specific people at that, that being Goku especially. So now he has a friend. He respects Goku. Goku respects the Omni King, and ultimately, yes, that this specific Omni King has been influenced by the mortals, has been influenced by our heroes, our fighters, the guys we love to watch every Saturday. So the future one hasn't, though. It wasn't until that he met Goku for the first time when he pressed the Omni button. That was the only influence. That was the only interaction he had at that point. So one could say that future Omni King, could have a bad temper. He could be someone who likes to throw his power around. He could be of that nature. He's had no direct influence, no direct sense of thought when it comes to influencing himself with the mortals or universes and stuff like that. So I do think that potentially the future Omni King could be someone, or could be the force to be reckoned with. I think that the present Omni King has he's lightened up a little bit, because now again he's mingled with the likes of Goku. He's mingled, he seems pretty laid back. But the first one, the future Omni King that we saw right away, as soon as he was summoned, did you summon me here? Did you do this to this place? What happened here? What's going on? I don't like this. Oh, he's annoying. I'll destroy everything. A word like this should not exist. And he just destroyed everything. So I do think, though, that it's not that I agree. If someone were to tell me that, Emish, that isn't enough information just to assume that much about a character. That's why we're just having
a mere discussion and speculating.
Exactly.
That's the only reason to.
Exactly, but at the same time, I think that's why they designed it that way, and that's why they ultimately ended up saying, well, this is why there's more than one Omni King. There's going to be one who has been influenced, right? And there's going to be one who hasn't. And it's pretty much black and white, yin and yang at that point, I think.
Now, one of the sentences in the lyrics, it says, an angel and a demon are sitting together like friends. Now, the key word that sticks out here to me is friends, because we see how, Goku promised the Omni King a friend, and everybody and their mothers back over the summer were, speculating if it was going to be Oolong or Emperor Pilaf or Goten or whoever, and it turns out to be another Omni King. Now, going back to what you just said about one Omni King being recognizable and the other one being a little bit of a mystery, it says here an angel and a demon are sitting together like friends. Now that could reflect in being that one Omni King is actually pure. He's not really one of those destructive forces to where he just wants to destroy everything and just doesn't give a fuck. Whereas opposed to the other one, just the slightest little thing that ticks him off can just trigger a massive genocide of just planets and people and just universes just going boom and just being being destroyed. So do you think that during this tournament we are going to see a separation of power between both Omni Kings, where if one says something the other one disagrees, there might be tension between the two? Because let's be realistic here, amongst everybody there, the Grand Priest, the gods, the angels, the warriors, all the fighters, the Supreme Kais, everyone that's there is nobody in terms of battle power, in terms of influence, that can stop the Omni King. We don't know if the Omni King, is a fighter, assuming that he's not, but the amount of power that he carries with him is immense, more so than anyone else at that tournament there. So if there is a separation of power, and if there is somewhat of a argument or something where there's tension between both Omni Kings, what do you think would happen in your opinion to where, as we spoke about off camera, you felt as if one Omni King takes 6 and the other one takes 6 universes and they start doing something there, or perhaps even we might see a little bit of a confrontation, because we as people, we know ourselves better than anyone else. So imagine if you got into an argument with another version of yourself who's more stubborn, or who is just as stubborn as you, that creates problems, and that could ultimately result in in an altercation. So do you believe that we are going to see something like that, or do you believe that are we going to see both Omni Kings just chilling in the chairs, not doing anything, just being in their own little worlds and just enjoying all of this?
Well, I think we're going to see something from them. I just don't know if I want to just go flat out and say that we're going to see an altercation between the two. And there's a couple of things as to why. The first point I want to mention, that yes, an angel and a demon are sitting together like friends. So yes, an angel and a demon are sitting together like friends. We know that that these two characters are referred to as friends now. That they're newly bound friends now. But it's touchy. It's a sensitive topic, because how do we just refer to one of the Omni Kings as a demon? I mean, not physically, he's an actual demon. It could be his character. It could be the way his temperament, his personality. That could make him a demon in a sense. And an angel could be someone who's he's innocent. He doesn't really have any concern with destroying things left and right. Blah blah blah. That's a sensitive topic, so I don't want to just go out and flat and just say, yeah, they're gonna fight or something's gonna happen between the two. However, You when you brought up the fact that that yes, we as people know ourselves better than anybody. If I were to go and have an argument with someone of myself, that would be as a result of there being two of me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the natural result, I think. So when you put something that doesn't make sense together, guess what? It's only a matter of time between where nature or things, the balance of everything has to balance everything out where it makes sense now. But ultimately, at the same time, like I said, I don't want to get too like philosophical or something like that and confuse people as to what I'm trying to say, because half the time I say things I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'll be honest. I just say, I say things. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people, they don't really understand what I'm saying. They misconstrue what I'm saying. They get confused. So I'm going to do my best to try to make sure I make some kind of sense.
Right.
But given that this is a touchy subject, it's so difficult because the Omni King, I think that these lyrics have everything to do with the Omni Kings and the Daishinkan, because this is being spoken of in third person. The Omni King isn't necessarily capable of, I don't even think he's capable of thinking this way. Like I said, he has no thought process. He doesn't really necessarily have a thought process. He just sees things in black and white, and that's it. That's it for him. As to where the Daishinkan is capable of, he's wise. He has wisdom. So these lyrics are being portrayed to be put at us where someone is in a newly found position that he's never been in before. That's why I do believe it has everything to do with the Daishinkan, but that doesn't necessarily rule out the Omni Kings either. Now, like I said, man, it's really difficult. It's so hard to just say that everything is about the Omni King, or that the two of them will end up having an altercation, or even like you said, like, the one Omni King will take 6 universes, the other will take another 6, and they're going to have a 6-on-6 universe tournament. I don't know if they're going to go that route, but I do honestly believe, though, that it's because our Omni King, our respective one, has been recognized, he has been influenced by everything that's taken place here. And one could argue, because I think a key factor here is that the future Omni King, look at him. I think at some point he knew all the gods got destroyed. I mean, you mean to tell me that you're not going to ask or wonder why all of these Kaioshins and all of these gods of destruction are not reporting to you on a regular basis? You mean to tell me that you don't come to check up on everything that's going on every now and then?
You're talking about the future Omni King, correct?
Correct, exactly. I mean, look at all the stuff that happened. They were all killed off, and he had no influence. He had no knowledge as to what's going on. And now you bring that specific person to the present timeline. That's why I feel like maybe that specific one could be the bad one, or the negative one, positive and negative. I guess I could say it and put it in that term, because like I said, the present timeline, we didn't see the gods of destruction getting killed off. We didn't see the Kaioshins getting killed off. That happens to the ones in the future timeline, where that same Omni King resided at that point. And he had no idea he had no idea as to what's going on, or B, he just said, fuck them, let everybody die. Let them die, whatever. So it's difficult to say, man. I think it's really hard to just say that the Omni Kings will more so have an altercation. I do believe that they are putting a lot of pressure on the Daishinkan, though, as a result.
Now, what do you think is like the worst and the best case scenario going into like the upcoming story involving the Omni Kings? Because the way I see things, I don't know, there's a part of me that says that they really aren't going to do anything. They're just going to sit back. They're going to say, you know what? All right, winner, loser, whoever loses, boom, there goes their universe. And I think that they're just going to do that. They're just going to be chilling. I don't think that there's going to be any, any sort of interaction between themselves and a fighter personally, other than Goku, because Goku knows at least one of them on a personal level, while the other one he took into the past and to meet the other Omni King. But what do you believe might be the best and worst case scenario for this in terms of involving both Omni Kings?
I think having to fight the Daishinkan is a worst case scenario. I don't see that being possible. I think having to go against the Omni King is a far more worst case scenario, because that just doesn't make sense. We know he's number one. He's the head honcho. He's you cannot oppose him. So that's why I do feel like there's going to be a lot of inner disturbances. And what I mean inner, like it's kind of like saying
stuff,
exactly like the family, like inside the family kind of disturbance. And as a result to that the mortals are just there as quote unquote pawns, that they're just there because the Omni King needs to be entertained. He just wants to be entertained, but something along the line, something happens, and now again, taking a look at the lyrics, either destroy myself or destroy everything else. The Daishinkan has a responsibility. He's being forced to either A, make a choice. The choice he makes is he plays along with what the Omni Kings wants from him, and he incorporates the whole destruction of the universe thing into the tournament instead. He does it in a tournament format. So perhaps That way he just doesn't just go out and flat out says, okay, you guys, you lose, you suck, you're dead. No, he makes a repercussion for it. So perhaps that way he doesn't feel guilty, or perhaps that way he doesn't go against himself at that point. As to where the Omni Kings, for example, I would imagine that yes, it's possible that they could disagree with each other, but it would be too easy to just say, well, no, I don't want this. I want him. I like this. Let's do this instead. And then the other one just says, no, fuck off. I'll destroy you. Well, how would that work? Would you ultimately put two Omni Kings against each other? Then you got people who might just fan base and say, well, perhaps the reason, like I said, all this stuff is just popping into my head. It could be blasphemy. It could be bullshit. What's Master Roshi's purpose for being there? Someone could say, well, if they ended up going up against the Omni King or the likes of the Daishinkan, could he possibly be sealed away? Then you go into a territory where too many questions get asked, and I think as a result, people end up thinking the wrong thing and assuming that you said this as if it's confirmed. So I don't, I don't want to say that the Omni Kings are going to go against each other specifically. I do feel like they're just putting a burden on everybody else, and as a result of that, you have these lyrics which are being portrayed here. Obviously, they're being spoken by someone who is knowledgeable, who has a thought process. Goku isn't capable of thinking this way. I don't see it. I don't see it like that. So I think it's the Daishinkan. Ultimately, he is the focus. He is the focus. The Omni Kings are like the support for that focus. And yeah, I mean, it's worst case scenario. Fighting against the Omni King or the Daishinkan is worst case scenario. I think it just doesn't make sense to me because they're unbeatable. There's no one as strong as the Daishinkan, and there's no one who could wipe out the Omni King.
Now, I wanted to ask you, because a lot of people were talking about how, no, the Omni King isn't going to destroy anything. It's just being used as sort of like a method to scare everyone into really trying hard. Do you think that the Omni King is really going to go through with this and destroy the universe if they lose?
They wouldn't title it Universal Survival Arc. They wouldn't refer to it in that sense. And the trailer, I think it was the trailer that said it in the subtitle or something like that. The trailer said it themselves. I don't know if it was the trailer. The trailer showed something getting destroyed, what looked to be a universe, and then the spoilers or the translations referred to apparently if you lose in a tournament, your universe gets destroyed as well. I think there is no because think about it. Why would you destroy someone's universe? You're wiping out entire races just because a specific group of people lost the tournament. There has to be something bigger than that, and that's why I think that that directly refers to what the Omni King specifically wants. They're putting that on the Daishinkan, and as a result, what should have been a regular tournament, because remember, the first Omni King, this is why I say that, the first Omni King, when he first came to the Universe 6 and 7 tournament, he said we should do something, we should do this again sometime, but this time with the strongest fighters from every universe. Goku was excited. Nowhere did he mention, hey, well, if you lose, you guys all die.
Yeah, that came out of blue.
That just came out of nowhere. So I think somewhere along the line, when it came out the blue? When the new Omni King was introduced. Right. So somewhere along the line, you look at the dialogue, the steps that everything was taken, and you could only come to the conclusion that something along the lines happened. What was meant to be a normal competition or a tournament for solely the Omni King's entertainment is now a do or die match where people will lose their lives because they lost the tournament.
But that's what I feel like this arc needs is stakes, because at the previous arc there weren't many stakes at all.
1,000% agree with that. I agree with that 100%. But if you were to tell me that I had the chance to watch the strongest fighters from every universe go off, no holds barred, no rules, like you can kill. If you want, you can kill. It doesn't matter. I'm okay with that. But you know what? For a arc, for this to be a story, of course you need some kind of aspect behind it. You need something happen. So, like I said, you can't. Like I said, maybe the Omni Kings, like I said, they don't really have a thought process. It's easy for them to just say, well, you know what? You lost, so you lose your universe. You know what I'm saying? It's easy for them to say that. But at the same time, you think, given Goku's nature, given everybody else, they just sit back and say, okay, well, just because you're the Omni King, I'm okay with that? No. Everybody else has free will. Everybody else has a thought process. The only people who don't have thought processes here are the Omni Kings. They're just incapable of being rational. They just toss their power out around. So that's why I feel like ultimately that would be the disagreement there, where you have one Omni King who just wanted a tournament for entertainment, and then you had this other one come along in the picture, and now as a result, well, you guys are going to lose your universe if you lose. But what about if you win? Well, you get to live. You get to live if you win. Ooh, thank you. You know, so then you create a disturbance in the mortal era, especially the relationship between Goku and the Omni Kings could get disturbed, because now it's like, yo, I thought we were cool. I thought we had a respect. You know, I gave you that friend. I'm the one who brought the Omni King for you. I gave you that friend. I'm not going to say that you guys owe me, but don't you guys think that this is going a little too far? This is why I feel like they're taking I don't want to say religious tone to it, but they're taking a very dramatic and drastic tone towards this upcoming arc. So I think that's the disagreement there. I think the future Omni King, his influence has ultimately has impacted the results, or the results of the tournament for the losers. But there's no actual prize for the winner other than the fact that you get to live. But which sucks though, because now it's like, what happens to every single universe?
Yeah, can you ask yourself, like what is the greatest prize in life? It's your life, ultimately enough. I mean, having the chance to live on, because the one flaw about Dragon Ball, you know, if you die, you can use the Dragon Balls, and I think that's kind of like an overused thing, and I don't think that ought to be a thing anymore. To where
No.
let's say for example, hypothetically speaking, Goku dies again or whatever, you shouldn't use
I
the
could see
Dragon
that
Balls to
happening.
bring him back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I could see that happening. If this was the end of Dragon Ball Super, which again, I don't want to dive into that territory because that hasn't been confirmed. I feel like, if like everybody says it, every big time YouTuber, especially like yourself, says it. If something is making money, there's no reason to stop.
Oh yeah, they're selling
you know,
toys and stuff. I mean, hey, listen,
Yeah,
it's
so-
more Dragon Ball. It's cool, because I remember we were all, every single person was always asking and wondering and just wanting to see more Dragon Ball ever since GT ended. Even before that, people just wanted more
Right.
Dragon Ball. So I mean, now that we're getting more Dragon Ball, that's fine and dandy. And the thing is, it's just like now having two Omni Kings involved, as you said, it creates problems, it creates tension. I really can't see this going any other way. I don't see this ending off in like total annihilation where, you know,
Of course
both
not.
Omni Kings just say fuck it and they destroy everything. No, I can't see that. But do you think Goku might have any sort of like influence as to like what the outcome may be? Let's say, for example, if the Omni King wants to destroy something, Goku comes along and he's like, could you pretty please not do that or something like that? Like, do you see Goku having any influence on them?
Only if it's the present Omni King.
Not the future Omni King.
No, I like I said, man, I think he's just on a separate, like, he's had, like I said, man, he's had no direct influence by Goku,
Right.
other than him giving him a friend. That future Omni King never asked for a friend. He never asked for any of this bullshit. You know, he could have been fine where he was at. You know, whatever. But maybe, you know, one could say that maybe he sees all this twisted stuff going on, and he says, no, this shouldn't be happening. Destroy everything. And then you have the present Omni King who's saying, no, I like my twisted timeline, goddammit. You know, like, or, you know, I mean, it's anything. But yes, I do agree with you on the fact that, yes, there could be an argument or a disagreement or some kind of altercation between the Omni Kings, even though I just previously said that I don't think it's going to be that case. But I do think that way only if it's because of that. That
Yeah.
only if it's because of the future Omni King is a certain way. He hasn't been directly influenced or involved or touched by Goku, by Vegeta, by Whis, by, you know, by everything that's happened. He didn't see a Universe 6 and 7 tournament. So maybe he just said, oh, okay, well, I'm used to, I destroy things all the time. If they lose their universe. Boom, done. And it's being forced onto the Daishinkan in a way, and now it's just a big problem where, you know, which one do I face? This one's telling me to destroy them, this one's telling me not to. What the fuck? Goku, this is all your fault, you know. And then it becomes this other thing where it's just like Goku becomes a target, perhaps, because he's always, dude. The thing about Goku, this guy is a walking target sign. Like, people target him all over the place. Like, he's that guy to beat, or he's that guy to kill. So again, he's the main character. Yes, he has to be involved too. You can't just say everything is about the Omni Kings and the Daishinkan. So he has to be involved in some way. If it wasn't for Goku doing what he did, if it wasn't for Goku introducing him to another Omni King, this stuff might not be happening. And granted that if what I'm saying is true, along the lines, you know what I'm saying? So ultimately, yeah, it is Goku's fault. A lot of the things that happen is Goku's fault. But like I said, man, this is what makes, I think, Dragon Ball interesting. We've never seen something like this before. We've never seen a all-out battle of gods, and I do think that's what this comes down to. You know, because you could imagine that. Listen, hey, if they find out that, oh, it was that guy who introduced one Omni King to the other one, oh, let's go after him. Let's fucking take this guy out, or something happens to, you know what I'm saying? So there's so much drama. The potential for drama, the potential for a storyline, the potential to add suspense and you know, like, oh my god, that oh my god factor that we saw when Black Goku first went Super Saiyan Rose, stabbed Vegeta through the chest, and all that other crazy stuff. We need that oh my god factor in this arc. So I think the only question is, well, ultimately, Emish, if that's true, how do you go against the Omni King then? What steps do you take? And because you can't kill him, you can't beat him in a fight. Okay, well, what if we seal him? Well, is he even sealable? Like, can you contain something like that? So, what is their end results? And maybe the end result, if all of this is true or some of it, would be where they come to an agreement, where all of this just comes to a stop or to a halt. And but then it's like, well, how would that taste for everybody? Would everybody be okay? Well, oh fuck it, they ended up just ending the arc like that, where everybody just gets along and they're holding hands now. You see what I'm saying? So it's interesting, man. I think it can go anywhere, but I do feel like the future Omni King, because it is responsible for this whole let's just fucking destroy everybody, because that's what I'm used to doing. You know what I'm saying?
So at the
And
end of the day,
I apologize. I apologize if I went off and just started rambling.
No, it's fine, because
but,
what I think definitely is gonna happen. Well, not indefinitely, but what I feel might happen here is we might get, I mean, because everyone is throwing in like strong like emphasis on the Omni King, if he's gonna have like any sort of crazy influence or if he's gonna pop off on someone. I honestly think, in my closing remarks here, I think that his only job is just gonna be to sit back and enjoy. If anything, there might be disagreements between the two of them, but I really can't see like the Omni Kings like in an essence, because I've seen several comments where people were just like, oh man, one Omni King is gonna obliterate the other and it's gonna be like this heavenly war, just like how it was like in the Bible and whatever, when you know, Lucifer fell and he took like half of heaven with him and stuff. So, and as you pointed out, you know, Dragon Ball has had a huge religious tone as of late with everything that's been happening and stuff. So,
right.
But I think that personally enough, I think that they should be in the background just observing and enjoying and just, you know, having that role rather than having, you know, some sort of like crazy, you know, scenario where one of them breaks out on the other and they start fighting. Although it would be cool, at the end of the day, it's like, how do you stop the other Omni King? It's like the only person that can stop the Omni King is the Omni King. So post your comments down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on the Omni King? Do you guys believe that the text correlation with the lyrics of the ending of Super has to do with the Omni King? And what are your overall thoughts on there being two Omni Kings? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Post your comments down below, everybody. Thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed the discussion, make sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe if you guys have not for more Dragon Ball discussions and reviews. And on that note, myself and Daishinkan Image will be seeing you guys in the next video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.